eventually we'll get this right, you know?
We don't have to.
Podcast. Two guys talking without wearing pants. Pantless. Podcast. You can take our ideas.
Welcome back to the Pantless Podcast. Here's your host, Austin and Travis. Take it away, guys. What's going on?
Hey, we're back.
Yeah, that sounds better. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're back.
Guess who's back? We're back.
Yes.
You been eating anything yummy?
Not really. Taco Bell made me mad yesterday, which means I
What?
didn't get Taco Bell.
Oh, okay.
I waited all
Looks
week for Taco Bell and then went drive-through yesterday to get Taco Bell. And my card wasn't working. And the lady absolutely just refused to, try. So she finally gave my card back to me and I just drove off. I was so mad. Like, thanks.
That would be upsetting. There is nothing worse than high hopes of Taco Bell and then not getting it.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
My
Wow.
food was... Don't really think I did much for food.
I got me some tortellini a couple days ago. It was really good.
Ooh, do you like
In like a tomato basil sauce type thing.
I like it.
Yeah, yummy. Got me some leftovers this morning. It's nothing like cold tortellini for breakfast. I love it. It's one of my faves.
Nice. God, I'm trying to think of if I did. No, I just don't think I ate food this week.
That's fair. Sometimes you just need to not eat food because, it's not always your friend.
That's accurate.
It's like, what was that movie where they're like, fish aren't food, fish are friends?
That's Finding Nemo, sir.
Is it? Okay. So yeah, it's like that.
Fish are
Except
friends,
sometimes,
not food.
yeah, and so sometimes food's not friends either. Nobody ever talks about that side of the coin.
I'm Bruce. The sharks from Finding Nemo. So.
What else is going on in the world?
Not much.
Anything exciting? It's been kind of quiet. We're getting we are a week, less than a week away from Tears of the Kingdom. That's pretty exciting.
What's that? Is that Friday?
Yeah, it's Friday. My wife is going to be a super sweetheart and go stand at GameStop at midnight and pick me up a copy while I am at home sleeping, getting ready for work.
Have you been hearing about all the controversy over this game?
I have not. I've really, ever since you said that there were leaks,
yeah,
I've really backed off and haven't looked at anything. The most I get is the advertisements on the Switch saying, "Hey, look at this video," and I'm like, "Man, I'll pass. I'll won't."
I guess a copy, a physical copy, was a European copy. It was a European version. Leaked, it actually, somebody got a hold of it and was selling it on a website called Macari, which is mostly a website that it's like an eBay, but it's mostly just sells clothes. So the seller had I guess some people went through and was looking at the seller, and they normally just sell shirts, shoes, handbags, and stuff, and all of a sudden they had $100 copy of Tears of the Kingdom that sold immediately. And then all of a sudden after that sold, another copy went up for $300, sold immediately, and I think 2 more copies fell after that. So they had somehow, then 2 days later, it appeared, somebody did a file dump and it appeared online for modded Switches.
Wow.
But they think it's the European version because it's a larger file size than what it was rumored to be. And I guess the European games have a little bit bigger file sizes because I have to put more languages available in those games.
Okay.
But I thought all languages were available in all the games.
Yeah, maybe not.
But yeah, I guess there's been people live streaming the game and people getting struck down and in trouble. So
interesting. I wonder what kind of, if there is any real legal repercussions for buying something before you can, like, the person buying, could they get in trouble for, like, I went on eBay and bought this game? Or is it just the person selling it?
Mostly the selling. Depending on what you do with the game that you bought.
Right.
I think is where legal troubles could. Because I think if you just bought it, played it, didn't advertise you had it, I think nothing would. Because I don't think it's illegal to buy. They might ask for
stolen
it back.
Stuff. Right.
But hard to tell. They're thinking that, Nintendo ninjas may be doing investigations on figuring out who that seller was.
Sir, we are going to be canceled.
What?
You can't say Nintendo ninjas.
You can say Nintendo. They have
Sir.
That's a term that is very common in the gaming sphere.
There's also a term very common in the hip hop sphere that if we said we would get canceled.
Yeah, but that one actually is offensive for people. Nintendo Ninja is not offensive. It only hurts that only hurts the feelings of criminals, and we don't care about the feelings of criminals.
Wow.
Facts.
Goodness.
Hey, do you got any breaking news?
I actually do have some breaking news. This came out less than 24 hours. The Paramount Network has officially announced that Season 5 of Yellowstone is the final season of Yellowstone. Okay. I've seen a couple episodes. It looks decent. I've never watched, just sat and watched it. But a lot of people love it. They just love it. It's got a huge following.
Yeah, I've never got into it. Not one of the shows that I like. So
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing. But they did announce, just to, I guess, I don't know, alleviate some of the sadness, that they are coming out with a sequel series. But I don't really know much more about it other than that.
I know they dropped the prequel series, 1827 or whatever that one was called, 18
something like that, yeah.
I know they had that one. There's some.
Keep your ears open if you're a Yellowstone fan. Ears and eyes.
Go for
it. You never know.
Hey, let's shift one more thing. Did you catch an Inteleon?
I did. That was not fun at all.
I didn't even go on and attempt it.
It was tough.
It came back this weekend, and tomorrow's last day, isn't it?
I believe, yes, you're correct. Yep.
So I need to hop on tomorrow and try to ride the curtails of a online battle and try to catch me one.
Yeah, they are tough. I don't know what mist does. I don't know if it prevents you from doing status changes, but it throws up a mist and then a snowscape.
I think it prevents the caster's team from having their stats lowered.
Mm.
Now, I also heard that it has a move that I think something about its ability, or it's something that it has negates like Storm Drain, like abilities like Storm Drain that can absorb water moves.
Right. I think it's got like Sniper or something. I thought
something like that.
But I don't. Yeah, maybe I don't know what it does. But it's got Blizzard, and too often I would get frozen, and that's just so frustrating. So frustrating.
Yep, I heard that was an issue with this because if you got the guy I was watching play it like last week, if he got frozen, he'd just back out and start again.
Yeah. I eventually I soloed it with an Annihilate, and what I did is I swapped out Screech for Sunny Day, just so its Snowscape wouldn't hit so hard. And I barely beat it, just barely.
I think I built a good Annihilate. I think I was doing some EV training on one while I was doing EV training for something else.
Yeah. It's a pretty good one with that Draining Punch is what I used mostly.
Mm-hmm.
But then once he resets your stats towards the end, that ghost move that he uses that is like OP after he takes 50 hits, that actually does more damage.
Rage Fist?
Yeah, Rage Fist.
Yeah. Try that.
Yeah.
Who's
Get it.
Who do we think is going to be the next one?
I think it's going to be the Grass Monkey.
Oh.
Because he's the only one they haven't done from Sword and Shield now. Remember the second one they did was that Cinderace.
Yeah. Not too bad.
Yeah, and I got you that beautiful white Zorua, sir. Hunting an even more beautiful shiny.
Nice. So,
and
is the
perfect IV.
So that's the first evolution. So both the Hisuian Zoroark Zora is also a different form?
Yes, it's also white and Ghost Normal. As opposed to the black dark type one.
Or are they just normally dark type?
Yeah, they're just straight dark.
Okay.
But the Hisuians are Ghost Normal, which make them like really cool.
Have a lot of plans to try to edit those and get them out so I can start playing again. I'm not happy with my original recording.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna release that?
No, I had some audio issues with the first 2 hours of recording that I didn't realize I had until after I recorded 2 hours, and I'm not restarting.
Gross. Gotcha.
So it's just gonna have to live with it. I thought I could fix it with this new editing software, but I cannot.
Yeah.
Someone else probably could, but I'm not smart enough to figure it out.
We love you anyway. If it makes you feel any better, I can't hear him at all.
Wow. I can. Do we want to get this going?
Retro movie review.
Let's do our movie.
Yeah.
There it is.
Let's do it.
All right. What did you think of this movie?
So, I and the whole family pretty much are in the same boat. Disappointed.
What?
Yes. And I think it was because it's so hyped up. My wife was like really excited because she's not even into like anime, but she knows like this is like one of the most popular. Like you see the merch everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter has never seen it, but she's got T-shirts with the big thing on there. Yeah, Totoro. And so we're like, oh, we're finally getting to watch this legendary movie, and nothing really happens. Nothing really happens. You have a little bit of conflict with the little girl disappearing for 30, 45 minutes, of the movie, hours in the movie, but nothing really happens, and we're just like, okay, okay, that was history right there.
I love this movie, but yes, it is just kind of it's different.
Yeah, I mean it's a beautiful movie. It was a nice movie, but we were so hyped for this epic, oh man, this is gonna be epic, and was it?
My wife has told me, which I've not read it, but she said the book is better.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because it's actually an old novel.
And this one, I had to rent it from Prime.
Oh, did you?
I could not find it anywhere. It was, I don't know what that was about.
I have it on 2 different box sets. I think
I might have to get with you and borrow a box set if we're due another one.
Well,
if you wouldn't mind.
We can figure that out.
Yeah.
I want to say at one point, if you had a VPN, I think all of these are available on Netflix UK.
Oh, okay.
Or they were at one time. They're region based, or French Netflix. You can get them.
Right.
There was a couple of the regional Netflixes that had them for a while, but here in the States we never had them.
Okay.
My biggest issue with the movie is that there's really not much closure with the mother.
Right.
At the end,
that's true.
And the book explains what's wrong with her, where the movie really doesn't.
Oh, okay.
She's got tuberculosis.
Ooh, okay. Interesting.
And as we were talking before we started recording, when do you what year do you think this was based in? What?
If I had to guess, I would guess 87. But
see, my wife kept trying to say that this was in the 80s, but no,
50s. It is not. 50s. The 50s. Okay.
58.
Okay. Did you go by the calendar that was in the background?
No.
Did you look at that?
I was looking through Common Sense Media, and it says in 1958. And if you the book she has has a map on the front, in the front of the book, and it says circa 1955 for the map of the area. So
okay.
So me and the wife were we were debating it because I don't know much about the Japanese culture through the years on how technology back and forth.
Right.
So I don't know. If you look, the vehicles looked old.
Right.
They were in the country. I don't know what part of Japan this is based in, but they're using the phone you put up to your ear.
Right, that's true.
And there's electricity. There's motor vehicles.
Right.
I do know that there was a certain war that affected the Japanese quite heavily because of a certain thing that happened. And I think this would have been when they were, parts of Japan were still kind of not caught up to, the rest of the world technology-wise because of their involvement in a certain war.
Gotcha.
That's my thought. I don't know if this all may all be false, but plus this would.
It sounds good.
I know that some other countries, and probably here in the U.S. as well, when you're like a lot of like country, like out in the country, technology, in the 50s and 60s, if you lived like in a major city like New York or LA, you had the newest technology and drove the newest cars, but out in the country, you're still about 10 years behind.
Exactly. Yep.
So, and I think other countries like Europe and all that and Asia would probably, 15, 20 years behind on technology kind of thing.
Right.
So,
yeah.
It felt 50s to me.
Yeah.
So,
that makes sense. I could see that, yeah.
Probably one of my favorite animated movies. It's such a good, clean movie.
It is. It is.
Makes you want to shed a tear near the end. Kind of gets a little sad.
Sad, happy.
I know that now. I don't know what translation you got on Amazon.
I got the one that had the Fanning sisters voicing.
Okay, you got the same one we got. Because it's yes. And Frank Welker does Totoro and Cat Bus. He's the guy that does Scooby Doo. So yes, you got what we say is the better translation.
Ooh. Nice.
We have the other translation in that other box set that we just bought back.
So, like, the other one's an older translation, right? Like,
I think so. Basically, the way the wife makes it sound like is way she describes it is that the voices of the two sisters, they sound a lot more city, a lot more like white folk, voicing the two main girls.
Yeah.
And they don't really sound like what they should. And they pronounce the main girl's name weird in the other translation. So.
Yeah, when they first was showed, I thought the older one was a boy when they were first, like, in the truck. And it wasn't until, like, they got out of the truck and like, oh, that's a girl.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I want that house that they were living in.
Just what about it was, like, appealing?
It is a Japanese style house where the whole like side of the house just opens up in those pocket doors.
Yeah.
And like your living room becomes a porch.
We were talking about
we were
talking about the translation.
Yeah, let's get into Metacritic.
Yeah.
So, 15 critics gave it the must-see stamp, Metacritic must-see stamp. So, you know what that means.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
So, I was actually going to give it a much higher score until you just said that. Because originally I was going to say the critics probably put this in the 90s. I would think that they would give it a 92, 93. But since they gave it that stamp of approval, I'm going to go with an 84.
You were close. 86.
Ah, man, that's what I wanted to say too, but I dropped it.
It seems like if they give it that stamp, it's in the high 80s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if the stamp changes if it gets a special designation, but it's in the 90s, because every time we ever see that stamp, it's in the high 80s.
Yeah. We need to go back and look at one of our movies. We've had a movie or two that were in the 90s. We got to see what stamp they give those. Like, if it might be like a top 100 movie or something. They might get a different stamp.
Must be. So, 183 users out of 10.
So this is where we know it's going to be in the 9s. 9.1.
I mean, if you should have followed your heart. and said what you said with the last one, 8.6.
So they were dead even?
Mm-hmm.
One's at 86 and one's at 8.6?
Yep.
I don't think we've ever seen that before.
Like once or twice, I think.
Were there exactly? That's crazy.
Gremlins was off by 2 points. I want to say there was a couple we did a while back that were pretty dang close.
Huh. Okay.
Let's see here. Critics gave it 13 positive, 2 mixed, 0 negative. Users gave it 172 positive, 9 mixed, 2 negative.
Ooh.
Now,
are we able to track down those negatives? See, what did you not like?
You said you were disappointed with the movie, but was there anything wrong with the movie, or is it just it was so hyped up?
Yeah, it did not live up to my expectations, and so I don't have anything really to speak against the movie, other than maybe it lacked conflict, but that was what kind of made it nice. Like it's a peaceful movie, and I like that.
Mm-hmm. Was a little bit of a tear at the heartstrings near the end. AV Club gave it 100. Miyazaki so effectively captures the feelings of a child's life, inside as well as out. That little ones are often mesmerized by the movie, and adults are returned to a time when they could enjoy mystery for its own sake. Let's see here. Let's get out of the hundreds and get down into some of the. Let's see here. I'm looking for a certain chronicle. See if they.
Oh yeah.
They did not review this movie. How dare they?
Wow. Fail.
Variety was the lowest score. Give it a 50. Writer-director Hayao Miyazaki has essentially padded a television half-hour into a sluggish theatrical feature. Tell me how you truly feel. The New York Times gave it a 50. These are the 2 lowest scores. When My Neighbor Totoro, which was written and directed, he didn't write it, by Hayao Miyazaki, is dispensing enchantment. It can be very charming. Too much of the film, however, was taken up with stiff mechanical chit-chat. He may have wrote the screenplay for the animated, but it was actually a book wrote by somebody else.
Yeah.
So.
All right. What about the let's hear from those people. The people that really matter, aka the people.
Who we're talking about?
The people.
You want to
the
find
fans.
Well, this guy on Metacritic gave it a 4. Said hardly any plot, just exceptional animation, and that's about it. Some enjoy just watching the kids be kids in the mood, but I have slightly better things to do. Only slightly. I will say that there was that awkward scene in the bath.
Yeah, that was really weird. But I guess, that might have been Japan in the 50s. I don't know.
So, looks like
different cultures.
It says there's 2 negative scores, but I'm not finding them. Because there's 2 4s. There's the one I just did, and then there's this guy that gave it a 4. Said a film certainly has a lot of positives within it. It does a good job of establishing the characters as relatable in a way that a lot of animated films never do. The imagination and the joy of youth really does come through in the presence of the film. This guy gave it a 7, and he broke it down.
Okay.
Go. First act, 6 out of 10. Second act, 6 out of 10. Third act, 10 out of 10. Seriously, that was probably one of the best endings I've ever seen to a movie ever. This film is very cute and initially doesn't strive to be anything better than above average. Broke it down. So.
Act by act.
it it does start a bit slow, a bit, but then when the main character has no actual lines, just yells a lot.
Right. Was he the first Pokemon? Because, like, he got his name just by the sound he made. But then, at the same time, they were saying that Totoros were from a story. Like, they were, like, troll type from some story. So, he just happened to utter... So, is he like a Pokemon, and that's where they got the name? Like, the troll stories were based on Totoro, who got his name from just saying, Totoro.
He's really just a forest spirit.
He even sounded like a Snorlax, didn't he?
He kind of looks.
You could hear Snorlax.
He kind of acts and looks like one. So they may have. As I believe Totoro is, part of Japanese lore and legend, like kind of like Bigfoot is ours. He's like Japanese is Bigfoot kind of thing.
Okay.
But I know that's probably a horrible thing to say, and probably like
right, because
bad analogy.
Totoro is probably more mythical, where Bigfoot's like...
Bigfoot's mythical. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but not revered. Maybe that's like Totoro's worshipped.
He's the king of the forest.
Yeah, Bigfoot not so much. I mean, I bet some people worship Bigfoot. Some people have had Bigfoot's baby. We've heard that.
How can I dispute them? Okay.
It's their truth.
Honestly, when Pokemon was created, Snorlax could have been modeled after a Totoro.
Yeah, and it probably was.
I mean, makes sense. Let's go to Common Sense Media.
All right.
Now, I have a feeling that Sandy Angelo Chin. Did we have that person last week? Or is this completely new?
No, this might be completely new.
I need to start writing this stuff down. Okay, Sandy
Chin.
Gave it a 5+.
Must have fell on her face at the beach.
Gave it age 5+, 5 stars.
Okay.
Beautifully animated fantasy about friendship fit for all. So let's roll down here, because now I have to... Is it any good? Our review, their review, gave it a 5-star. 155 parents, 5-star. 139 kids, 5-star.
All right.
So,
what's old Sandy Chin got to say, sir?
Educational value.
Oh gosh, educational value, not present,
but clickable.
Of course it is.
Meant to entertain rather than educate.
Okay. All right. My favorite type of review right there. Gosh.
Wait.
Oh gosh.
Hold on. Oh, okay. She gave it a 0-star and said none. And then, okay. So she puts word. I don't know if this is something new, but when you click on it, next to the how many stars it gets, she puts words. And it was a 0, and it said none, and then had a review. So this one, positive messages.
3?
She gave it a 4. And said a lot.
Oh.
Encourages kids to be compassionate to their neighbors and loving towards their parents. Friendship is a strong theme, as is the powerful bond of family.
Yeah. The Bond family. James Bond.
Positive role models.
This could be a 4 or a 5. Lots of the family were just very family oriented. Nothing negative at all about them. Just the lack of negativity could make it a 5. But the baby being a baby, I'm going to say 4. Okay.
Satsuki is a loving, responsible older sister who's willing to help and look out for her younger sister, even when they don't get along. Both girls are courageous, independent, and curious. Totoro is kind and helpful.
Yeah. And I thought the little girl, she did a good job of being a little, like, I know I was partly acting, partly writing, but it felt like a little kid. Like, she acted like a little kid, like a 3 or a 4-year-old. Like, yeah, that is exactly how they act.
She was 5.
5? Yeah.
Violence and scariness.
Maybe a 2. There was some scariness. That cat bus was kind of scary.
Cat bus is awesome. Don't pursue. I got a 1.
Okay.
Very little. The main character's mother is sick in the hospital. Their new house has tiny little suit sprites that crawl around and creep out the girls at first. At first sight, Totoro might initially intimidate younger viewers, but he's quickly revealed to be a gentle, good friend. Didn't even mention Cat Bus. And it's
how weird. I forgot about if I would have remembered those little soot sprite things, I would have definitely given it a 2. That would have been a solid number 2.
Didn't even mention Cat Bus's just creepy cat call.
Yeah, it was the whole thing was creepy. It looked creepy. It looked sinister.
I love Cat Bus. I want one.
Yeah.
Full size.
I bet you can find one.
One that I could ride in.
Somebody can make one. You can make one.
Sex, romance, and nudity.
Well, there's definitely nudity. We saw 3 naked people.
That's true, but she says not present. Can't even click it.
Okay. I mean, okay.
Language.
Not present.
Not even clickable. Products and purchases, which this was bribery.
I'm gonna say not present, not clickable.
You would be correct, but I was surprised this one's not like produced a massive product line.
Right, yeah. That's true.
Drinking, drugs, and smoking.
Not present.
Correct. Parents need to know that My Neighbor Totoro is a fine pick for the entire family. Although there are slightly creepy dust sprites that appear in the house at first, they eventually disappear. Totoro himself might look and sound a bit odd, but he's quite sweet and gentle. The protagonist girls have an ill mother with an unnamed disease. Yes, which, like, if you just watch the movie, you have no idea what she's got. But the moments in the hospital aren't sad or depressing. Some parents may not feel comfortable with the amount of freedom the girls, as is the case with children in all of Hayao Miyazaki's films, have to wander off alone, either around their neighborhood, the surrounding forest, or on a long walk to visit their mother. Overall, this is a family film in the truest sense. It appeals to moviegoers young and old alike.
But like you had mentioned, and this is probably true, especially, I mean, the more rural your area, the more freedom you have. And the further back in time you go, the more freedom you have. And this is rural Japan in the 50s. Those kids had nothing to worry about. They could absolutely run within a 10-mile radius. They were fine.
My wife reads a lot of. She reads a lot of anime. Not anime. She watches a lot of anime. She reads a lot of manga, and she's I don't know if she studies Japanese culture, but she's kind of in that culture more than I know. And she was making comments about how Japanese culture promotes more independence in their children, even at a young age. So
yeah, even today, I've seen those articles. Like there's Japanese schools that have these huge, elaborate playgrounds that have no protective whatever, and the kids can go up like 2 stories and could easily just fall off and break an arm or something or die. But there's like no, they're not going to do that. They're kids, they're not idiots.
I know that the film is like movies and shows aren't fully reflective of their culture fully. But have you ever watched Naruto?
No.
in that story, the main character Naruto, he's like, I want to say he's like 12 or 13, and he lives by himself. He has his own apartment. Both his parents are dead.
Oh gosh.
And he lives by himself, like in an apartment. He doesn't have like foster parents, kind of thing.
But that was probably that. Isn't that set way long time ago though?
Yeah, it is.
Like
it is. And
he was probably like a middle-aged person back then. Like life expectancy was 38.
He was still in
he's
school.
like,
he was still
I'm almost dead.
School. And yes, he lived in a village, and there was like a lot of people around, and it's not like he was alone. He kind of was. If you watch the story, he was. There's another show that we watched called what's the name of that show? It's a weird one, but it's kind of a similar situation where there's like a sophomore in high school. The main character is like a sophomore in high school, and he lives alone. His teachers all move into his Happy Lessons, the name of that one. Five of his female teachers move into his house with him to be his mothers. And you think the show
sounds creepy.
Well, no, that's what I was about to say. You feel like the whole time the show's about to take that inappropriate turn, and it never does. They were actually like taking care of him, and they like want to, because he's got like a sister that's a pop star, like a J-pop star that kind of comes over every so often, but
so he's got money.
His sister has money. I guess his parents left him a lot of money before they passed on or something. I don't know, but it's kind of a weird culture thing. You don't see that in America,
right. Yeah, so, in Japan, dads will take baths with his 10 and 5-year-old daughters, and that's just like normal.
So here's a
different culture.
Here's an adult gave it a age 4+, 5 stars, which I agree, because my now 4-year-old loves this movie. We actually keep a copy of this movie in our van that has a DVD player in it that we bought
just to watch
keep out there, just for them to watch on trips, because she loves Totoro. It's a kids film where there is no antagonist. The kids being able to express themselves and expand their personalities into a world of nature that accepts them. Totoro is benign in his bigness and does not default into cutesy Fievel syndrome. Oh, Fievel goes west. Cutesy Fievel syndrome that was popular in the 80s. A slow-paced film that takes children's feelings seriously and reveals how much better it is to believe and to love each other, and finds beauty in the mundane in community. My 4-year-old loves it and yells for Totoro at least 4 or 5 times a week.
That was something also interesting. The dad, was he just a believer, or was he just allowing the kids to be kids? Or do you think like he actually understood that the spirits are real, like we have to respect them, and he was just raising them to be respectful of those spirits?
And I think it's another culture thing, but I think only and there's several like legends and lores out there and like mystical creatures that only children can see.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably saw these as a child. But now that he's an adult, he can't see it anymore. Like, he probably has seen, like a Drop Dead Fred kind of situation, an imaginary friend, or, but she saw they had storybooks in their house of Totoro that he probably has read books about Totoro to these girls their whole childhood. And now all of a sudden she's claiming she's seen one in the forest, and he's like, that's awesome. Wish I could see it.
Right.
It sounds like he's just a good father. And promoting imagination in children, because that's what we should be doing. Let children have an imagination. Don't squash it when they're 4.
Right.
Don't tell your children that Santa Claus isn't real. The Easter Bunny is fake. Hope my children don't watch it.
You just ruined 5 children's hopes and dreams.
Dang right. So, I already know what I want to watch next week.
All right, what are we watching next week?
We're gonna stick with some Studio Ghibli and Hayao Miyazaki. Okay. We're gonna watch Spirited Away.
Okay.
This one,
I think that's on something. I've seen that. I think that's on a thing that I can watch.
I think so.
I'll have to check. Or maybe it used to be, but it's not anymore.
So HBO Max.
Dang it!
I know.
I think that's what this one was.
Let's see if I will see if I can pull some strings with some stuff this week. See what I can do.
Yeah.
I might have an idea for something.
Do it.
So this
I've heard good things about this one too. Like
this one,
I've heard better things about this one than the other one that we just watched.
This one's a 2001 film.
Okay.
This one's a little bit newer. This one I would say is more popular.
Okay.
Like more mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one that me and my wife went to watch in theaters last week. The week before. We went and watched the theatrical stage production of the live act, like a live. They actually did like a Broadway style play over in Japan back in 2001, and they filmed it, and then they got it running in theaters. They had it as like a week and a half run in Tulsa, and we went and watched. And it was all subtitled. It was awesome. This has my second favorite animated character of all time.
Ooh.
The character I actually dressed up as for Halloween this past year. No Face.
No Face.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna be looking out for No Face.
You can't miss him in this movie.
Okay.
He
doesn't have a face, so. I mean, you would think I could miss him pretty easily.
Sure. I would almost say he's like the Cat Bus of this film, where he's not like the main character, but he's in Spirited Away more than Cat Bus is in Totoro.
Okay.
He actually plays a larger role, but kind of a similar role, kind of like side, kind of. But Spirited Away, great movie.
We're doing it.
I've been wanting to rewatch this one because we just got done watching that theatrical version, and I want to watch the actual animated because I'm like, it's been a while since I've seen the movie, so while the one we went and watched in theaters is fresh in my mind. It kind of isn't. I've already forgotten most of it, but so I don't remember who all voices this one, but I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I think that's all we got for today.
Let's call it.
Subscribe if you've made it this far.
Everyone has. It's been an enthralling episode.
All right. Let's see if I can hit right buttons. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.